The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. Excellence is an art won by training and habituation. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Happiness is the highest good. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Man is a social animal. The law is reason, free from passion. Nature does nothing in vain. Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living from the dead. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. In all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. A friend to all is a friend to none. Poverty is the parent of revolution and crime. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. You will never do anything in this world without courage. The one exclusive sign of thorough knowledge is the power of teaching. Wishing to be friends is quick work, but friendship is a slow ripening fruit. The greatest virtues are those which are most useful to other persons. To avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies. The least initial deviation from the truth is multiplied later 1,000-fold. The more you give, the more you have. What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in two bodies. No great genius has ever existed without a strain of madness. Hope is a waking dream. All human actions have one or more of these 7 causes: chance, nature, compulsions, habit, reason, passion, and desire. Dignity does not consist in possessing honors, but in deserving them. The worst form of inequality is to try to make unequal things equal. Man is by nature a political animal. Quality is not an act, it is a habit. We make war that we may live in peace. He who is unable to live in society, or who has no need because he is sufficient for himself, must be either a beast or a god. The greatest thing by far is to have a command of metaphor. This alone cannot be imparted by another. It is the mark of genius, for to make good metaphors implies an eye for resemblances. Friendship is essentially a partnership. Courage is the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees the others. It is not always the same thing to be a good man and a good citizen. Nature does nothing uselessly. The soul never thinks without a picture. Man is a goal-seeking animal. His life only has meaning if he is reaching out and striving for his goals. For the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them. All men by nature desire to know. The high-minded man must care more for the truth than for what people think. The ideal man bears the accidents of life with dignity and grace, making the best of circumstances. Those who know do. Those that understand teach. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. What we have to learn to do, we learn by doing. The ultimate value of life depends upon awareness and the power of contemplation rather than upon mere survival. Misfortune shows those who are not really friends. The most perfect political community is one in which the middle class is in control and outnumbers both of the other classes. Personal beauty is a greater recommendation than any letter of reference. It is not enough to win a war. It is more important to organize the peace. It is the nature of desire not to be satisfied, and most men live only for the gratification of it. The greatest proof of our culture and civilization is the reverence we pay to our parents. The energy of the mind is the essence of life. With regard to excellence, it is not enough to know, but we must try to have and use it. Those who excel in virtue have the best right of all to rebel, but then they are of all men the least inclined to do so. The generality of men are naturally apt to be swayed by fear rather than reverence, and to refrain from evil rather because of the punishment that it brings than because of its own foulness. The good for man is an activity of the soul in conformity with excellence or virtue. It is not always easy to determine the nature of the harm which is causing a particular affection in the soul. It is absurd to hold that a man ought to be ashamed of being unable to defend himself with his limbs, but not of being unable to defend himself with speech and reason, when the use of reason is more distinctive of a human being than the use of his limbs.